God of creation and compassion, we praise you for your attention to each and every blessed creature, marveling at the detail and the grandeur you call into being. You tend the fragile beauty and balance in the world, receiving praise from the depths of the sea to the tops of the mountains. You have seen your church grow from tiny beginnings to a worldwide community for those who follow Jesus, full of diversity in voice and vocation. Receive our praise as we witness your patience and perseverance with all you have made. Open our eyes to the purposes you have for us, for our congregation and for our denomination. Awaken us with the insight of your Spirit and reveal to us how best to serve you in the world you love. For we offer ourselves to you in the name of Christ our Lord. Amen. In her poem, Aurora Leigh, Elizabeth Barrett Browning writes, "Earth's crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God. But only he who sees takes off his shoes. The rest sit round it and pick blackberries." What if the miracle of the burning bush isn't that the fire didn't consume it, but that Moses turned aside? Maybe turning aside to see this thing is the real miracle of the story. The rabbis of old say that others passed by the bush while burning, but only Moses turned aside. I think there are burning bushes in each of our lives, throughout our lives. What if every burning bush is a call asking for and awaiting a response from us? Burning bushes are those circumstances or events that interrupt life and grab our attention. They are not part of our plans. They take us by surprise. They stop us in our tracks and cause us to turn aside. We take a second look. Burning bushes come to us sometimes in positive and welcome ways, and other times not. Regardless of how it comes to us, the burning bush shatters the horizon of our expectations. And here's what I mean by that. We all live within a horizon of expectation. It's that part of life that can be reasonably planned and counted on. It holds a mostly foreseeable future, and we mostly know what tomorrow will bring. Our expectations will likely be met, but we don't know what lies beyond or is coming toward our horizon. Within our horizon, life is relatively stable, which means it is also relatively unstable. So there is a risk and a potential for instability, for something to shatter the horizon of our expectation, something that we could not see coming. Moses never thought it possible for a bush to be on fire but not be burned up. He never expected or planned on being the one to bring God's people out of Egypt. Those were beyond his horizon of expectation. In each of our lives, some experiences shatter our horizon of expectation. They are events, conversations, and words, unplanned, unexpected, unforeseeable happenings, and they always ask something of us. The response. The burning bush doesn't reveal God to be a supreme being, a superhero, or the big guy in the sky. Instead, it reveals God to be more like a call, a solicitation, an asking, and an insistence. God calls in every place and situation. God calls with the promise of life, more life, new life, and each calling awaits a response. In burning bush experiences, God calls more than God does or accomplishes. The doing and accomplishing are for us. God says to Moses, "I have observed the misery of my people. I have heard their cry. I know their suffering, and I have come down to deliver them from the Egyptians." But listen what God next says to Moses. So come, I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of the land of Egypt. I have come down to deliver them, God says. So come, I will send you, God says to Moses. God is going to deliver God's people by sending Moses. And Moses is to give existence to God's call for deliverance. Moses is to make real and enact God's desire for the people. What if that's how God is working in our lives too? You remember I told you that the rabbis said Ada passed by the burning bush but did not turn aside. What if they too were to have given existence to God's call, God's insistence that the Israelites be free from Egypt? I wonder when you and I have not turned aside. When have we failed or refused to respond to the call on our lives? The burning bush story is one of call and response. Something is being called for in the name of God. I believe that call and response is also the story of our lives. Something is being asked of us in the name of God. The burning bush experience does not happen apart from everyday life, but in the midst of life, in keeping our flocks. And that's what Moses was doing when this happened. He was keeping the flock of his father-in-law. He was doing the ordinary routine things of his life, the same things he did the day before, the week before, and the month before. So likewise, burning bushes show up as we keep our flocks of routine and everyday life. Marriage, parenting, work, friendships, errands, church, reading the news, household tasks. In what ways is the horizon of your expectation being shattered today? What is interrupting, disrupting, erupting in your life today and asking for a response? What is being called for and how will you respond? And this is where I often get stuck on the response. What's the correct response? Of course, I want to get it right. But what if there isn't one correct answer? What if we can't know for sure? What if the right response whatever brings forth life, more life, new life? And what if that looks different in each of our lives? How does Moses know if he'll get it right? He doesn't. He doesn't know any more than we do. There will, however, be a sign. The sign, God says, will come after the people have been delivered, not before. It's as if God is saying, you'll look back on all this and see I was there all along. And isn't that an accurate description of life? We live life forward, uncertain and not knowing. But we only begin to understand and make sense of it in retrospect. In life, there are no guarantees. And the most we can do is to respond hoping against hope, loving and living with faith our way forward. What if that's how we approached every burning bush in our life? And what if we saw every common bush afire with God? Amen.